Hey, how you guys doing? You mind telling me what you guys are doing here today?
Practicing our freedom of speech.
Is there anything in particular that you guys are expressing with your freedom of speech?
That we have the right to speak freely, and that we're not advocating violence, and we have American flags on our side, and they got communist flags on their side. So, what does that tell you?
Tells me you guys are pro-American and they're anti-liberty.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
And what is America to you?
America? Well, that's the freest, wealthiest society in all of human history.
And in what ways are we the freest society?
Because we still have our freedom of speech. We have the right to speak, controversial, political, dissenting opinions, which isn't really, nobody really over here is even saying that. It's just the media and society in general has gone so far radically to the left that regular mainstream conservative values have become considered far right.
Do you think that we're really free when there's regulations on almost everything that people do? Like, you're regulated when you're in a car, you get taxed for everything, you're getting money taken out of your paycheck every week through taxation.
Well, I'm no fan of, heavy government regulations on our, on our daily life. I'm no fan of that. But at the very least, you have to start with, a basic semblance of free society.
Now, do you believe that being a U.S. citizen makes you free?
Well, it's a sliding scale. Nobody has total freedom. You don't have a right to violate. You don't have a right to violate somebody else's rights.
Right. Well, isn't that something that government does when they're taxing us? They're violating your right to your property?
Well, it's a give and a take. It's a balancing act, I'm not an anarchist because you need the government to provide certain functions and services.
So a United States citizen is defined as someone who's born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof?
Legally, yes.
How does being a subject make you free?
You're not a subject of... If you're here in America, then you have to abide by... where's Alan?
Big bearded guy.
Yeah.
The police had to escort him.
Yeah?
It got bad. Yeah.
Go Bell.
I was standing. I made sure no one ran up on him, but nobody's...
Okay.
What were you saying about that?
Huh?
What were you saying about that?
What about...
You said that
Do you have to obey the law if you live in a country?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to obey the country's laws, yes.
All right. Where do you find that you have to obey laws or laws that are... You have to... Are you going to pepper spray me, dude?
No, not you.
Oh, okay.
No. We're being followed, so...
All right.
The more septum piercings you see, the more...
Now... Yeah, it's kind of creepy the way you're being followed right here.
Yeah, it is.
Do you feel like you have to follow laws even if they're unjust laws?
Well, it depends, It depends how unjust, If you're...
Well, let's take the state of New Jersey. You can't even pretty much own a firearm or carry one in almost any circumstances. Is that a law that if I got arrested for that, would I be a...
So basically what it boils down to is...
Are they constitutional?
Did you guys get maced? Did you guys get maced?
Did we get maced?
Oh, I don't know, she's coughing.
Do you have any evidence that because I'm in the physical location that the Constitution of the United States applies to
You
me?
guys communists?
If you're in the United States, the Constitution of the United States applies to you.
Well, what about groups like the Amish or the Hutterites? those people are outside. They're not citizens of the United States, and the Constitution does not apply to them.
They've already been given legal acceptances. Like, are you talking about like Native American reserves as well? Like
Well,
reservations?
that'd be another example, but that's through the United States.
Yeah, we've
corporation.
granted them those
It
areas.
depends how you
So
look at it. If
you
want-
believe that the United States grants rights?
I believe the United States granted them their land and their own independence. We didn't have to do that.
So you believe that the state grants rights to people?
I believe some rights are inalienable and, for lack of a better phrase, God-given, but most rights are given to you by your government, sure, or rather are enforced by your government.
Right. And can you delegate a right that you don't have?
Give an example.
Well, I guess where does the government get the right to give someone a right?
They're elected.
Right. So is all legitimate rights of government derived from the people?
Yes.
And then can you delegate a right that you don't have?
Again, I would need an example. What are you aiming at?
I'm saying that you're saying that the government has given people rights, but how is that possible if their rights are derived from the people, the rights of the government? How can the government give somebody a right?
Well, government is elected by the people, and then the government can sort of structure it in a way that they're sort of that's the entire point of a representational democracy. They represent us. So in a way, it is the people framing the government, and framing what rights people have, but it's through the government that they elected.
And when do you believe that it's all right to violate the consent of minorities?
What do you mean?
Well, through democracy, it's a 51% win. So the minority, if you're in the minority, the 49%, your consent gets violated.
Well, there's still a lot of ways that the minority in this country, through checks and balances, can be heard. Like there were stuff put in place intentionally to stop mob rule. In a lot of places in the United States government, mob rule is checked. More than in any other
Isn't
system.
the government mob rule?
No,
How not?
because of the system of checks and balances in place to stop it from being mob rule. Even if the Republicans control the White House, if they don't control Congress and the Supreme Court, they can't just push it through their own agenda. There's a system of checks and balances to stop it from being mob rule.
But whether it's Democrats or Republicans, it's still the bankers.
the Democrats want it to be mob rule. That's why they're coming out in mobs to try and push forward their agenda, but it's not mob rule. The U.S. government has never been and will never be mob rule.
It's a banker rule system where they elect the politicians. So politicians are elected by how much money that goes into their campaigns.
Well, that's clearly not true. Hillary Clinton had much more money in her campaign and she still lost. Much more money. I mean, you can smile, but is that not true?
But
she had so much more money in her campaign.
Yeah, but they're both banker owned. The bankers were promoting both of the politicians.
Who are you with?
Anarchist Post.
Okay, so what are you pushing here, basically? Like, are you going to end up and tell me it's the Jews or something? Is that what you're pushing for? Or what are you saying they're banker-owned? Is this
The
Zionist
Jews.
thing? Yeah, you're saying they're banker-owned. You keep
So
pushing
all
that.
Jews are banker?
Well,
all bankers are
I
Jews?
was assuming that's the crazy message you were going to push, because that's one of the conspiracy theories, which I do not support.
We got these guys are trying to find their way out.
Yo.
Are you going out?
Yep.
Let him
Hey. Guy again.
That would make sense.
Right.
Put him in a van.
So, how you feeling?
Doing good. How you doing?
Nuts out here.
Maybe there's a way to go around this side.
There is.
Yeah.
There's a huge riot as soon as I leave.
Keep seeing these like splinter factions.
All right. think that's it for this live stream.